we have a summit meeting of Trump and President Putin coming up shortly. Maybe, it's possible, there will be some advance on the Ukraine war issue. If so, I think Trump would say that he's suspending the 25% extra tariff. So I think that some of the worst possibly will be renegotiated. But what I've said all along in India is don't count on the U.S. market as being your key or on a U.S. alliance as being your security. So there's a short-term question. India, yes, should try to negotiate better. I'm not at all against that. But I think that the strategic hopes of India, that it's the U.S.-India partnership that will replace China in America's supply chains, and also that will be the core of India's security arrangements, that I don't believe at all.
So let me ask you, Dr. Sachs, the question tonight is how hypocritical can America be? Because America continues to buy from Russia uranium, fertilizers, raw material for their nuclear plants, but has imposed punitive tariffs on India because we buy Russian oil at cheaper rates. This hypocrisy, does it have legs? Will it continue to walk for long? Or do you think some logic and some sanity will prevail?
Of course, he's not unaware, but this is American arrogance, which is America does what it wants and leaves everyone else in the wake. Again, I've tried to explain this to Indian friends. Don't trust the United States in this. The U.S. does not have a responsible foreign policy. The U.S. does not have a mutual, respectful foreign policy. The U.S. is not an ally of India to any extent. The U.S. may try to use India against China, but that is not to India's advantage, and it is not a strategic relationship. So this is absolutely true. Double standards. This is the nature of American foreign policy. Do what we say, not what we do. And that's a cornerstone of American arrogance, which is that we don't have to abide by international norms and standards.
What do you think, Jeffrey Sachs, are the options for India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi? The fact that he will give in to America, or the option where he can go back, align himself with Putin, long-term friend Russia has been for India, the Brazilian president also in touch, and a meeting with Xi Jinping coming up soon. Where do you think this is going, and are we going to look at a new geopolitical axis once again?
I would have recommended all of these things even without Trump. I'm a believer in the BRICS. I'm a believer in the BRICS remaking the world order for multipolarity and multilateralism. I'm a big believer, by the way, I think it's less controversial now than maybe a couple months ago because of what's happened. But I am a believer in China-India reconciliation and cooperation. I'd like to see the issues that have divided the two giants to be resolved, because I think the gains from close cooperation in making a fairer world would be enormous. You know, it's almost 40% of the world population between the two countries. I'd like to see China support India for a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. I think this would be very important for the world and something that China should do. I'd like to see India and China solve the border issues, which, after all, were made by the British, not by India or China. So it's time for them to be resolved as well. So I see the BRICS as a very constructive force. I do think the BRICS should also intensify work on local currency payments, non-dollar payments for settlements, on establishing strong BRICS financial institutions, and on other forms of cooperation. But this flurry of activity in the last couple of days, well, we can thank Donald Trump. He's the great unifier of the BRICS.